I grew up in a Christian home. I went to a couple churches when I was younger, including Hope. I knew that there was a God, and I prayed a prayer whenever I was young because I didn't want to go to hell. But whenever I got older, old enough to not be forced into going to church anymore, I quit going to church and started partying, drinking, doing some drugs, selling drugs, and just kind of went my own way, just chasing good times. When I turned 22, my girlfriend that was living with me at the time told me that she was pregnant, so I moved us away and straightened up the best that I knew how. Things were going good. My son Hunter was born. He was the joy of my life, my whole reason for being. He is what I based everything that I did on, and I woke up one morning and he was laying next to me. He had passed away in the night of sudden infant death syndrome. My whole world came unraveled. I went back to what I knew, but it was a lot worse. I did a lot of drugs and I drank a lot to try to get over the pain of what I felt, and I never dealt with his death. I just tried to move on. There was always a sadness in me, and it was more bearable if I was high. But I lost my house, I lost my place to stay. I lived with different friends that I had at the time until I ran out of friends and had no more place to stay. When I was leaving the final place that I had, I was walking down the road and I saw an old friend of mine, a pastor friend from whenever I was a kid, and he called to me, and I went over and I got in the car with him and I told him what was going on, and I asked him if he'd pray for me, and he said he would pray for me, but that there was something I needed to do also. That day I decided to let Jesus be the Lord of my life. I had made such a mess of it, I really didn't see any good outcome for my life. Whenever I came to Christ back in June of 2003, I used a lot of things as a crutch to try to dose over the pain that I felt all the time. And whenever I came to God, He really just took those things out of my life, and I have no more desire for that. Since that time, I've made a lot of really good friends, had some good leadership, some role models here at the church. I've learned to live a quiet and peaceful, productive life. He's provided me a nice house and a good business. I recently married my best friend and the greatest woman I've ever met, Andrea. I know one day I'll be reunited with my son. I look forward to that. But he's just given me a whole new peace and a good outlook on life.